Hi, welcome back to Represent. Today's segment's guest is Whitney Lawrence, Marketing Program Manager at Autodesk, and also a WeXL mentor and early supporter. Whitney, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I'm so excited to finally have you here because you have been supporting us in the background for numerous programs, including bringing Caesar to San Francisco. So thank you for that. And I want to really now give you a chance to talk about how you work within Autodesk, not just as a marketer, but also, you know, helping us spread our mission and grow our mission in diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And tell us more about that.
Well, Autodesk is a design and engineering software company. So we like to say that we make the software for people that make anything. So whether it's a building or a movie or a car, people use the software to create these things. And these things and these spaces and these industries are creative and innovative by nature. And what that means is that diversity and inclusion must be at the center of what we're doing so that we can continue to foster this creativity and innovation for a lot of different communities across the entire world.
Really awesome and well said. And, you know, I said before that, prior to the taping, that you're our first corporate guest. So, way to go to be the first. And I wanted to showcase that because, you know, living in San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley, there's this divide, right, of the artist community, which is what we're used to because that's what we're part of. But I also have been in your world and continue to see how much opportunity there is to bring about, you know, the sort of creative collaborations. And I want to talk more about how you fostered this sort of creative collaborations with more diverse group. You know, tell us a story about that time that you've actually done this without our help. You did it yourself.
Well, Autodesk is very much focused on empowering their people to make a better world, and that's whether it's impacting your daily job or impacting the world around you. And they truly believe that the employees drive a culture of that impact. And I do feel empowered working there to be able to identify areas where I can drive a bit of that diversity and inclusion. And an example of that is recently I was producing a series of videos with, with the group called WeXL, as well as some other folks. And it's to promote our Forge DevCon event in November. And I was sick of getting the corporate canned music that always comes with a lot of typical videos that you put together. And I realized there are artists, there are communities all around us. You don't have to settle and just get the thing that's easiest or in the immediate network. So I went to some local production companies that provide services like music production, mixing, and monthly events, PDX Flight. And Chris Demetris created sets of 5 tracks to go with each of our series that we do so that all the videos we're putting out has fresh, unique, no one else uses it music made by the community. And PDX Flight also they strive to integrate the LGBTQ community and persons of color in the work that they do and their outreach. So our missions and values very much aligned. And on top of that, the music is awesome. And so it was a win-win really all around.
And it's great. It's really like thinking about the resources that you have and understanding that you need to get this job done anyway. So why not bring in the diverse creative community to get it done?
The local community.
And
on top of that,
local and Whitney's from Portland, so it's not necessarily even local.
Actually, also, they are originally spent many years down here in San Francisco. Chris Demetris had, I don't know if he learned to mix and produce here, but he definitely fostered that passion here for maybe a good 20 years. So they've got legs here in San Francisco and all over the West Coast.
That's incredible.
So it's definitely something that is a bit local here, but also local to me.
Yeah, and something that I feel like the word local doesn't have to mean that you're from San Francisco, doesn't have to mean you're from San Jose or whatever, but it's that this is where your roots are now, and this is what you call home now. So for me, I was born in Mexico, and then I grew up in Marysville, California. That's 3 hours north of here. And now I've been living in the Bay Area for 10 years. So this, to me, I'm local, I'm home, I'm an actress from the San Francisco Bay Area, you know, so that's what I mean by local. You can, people can come from all kinds of places. Came from Virginia.
That's right.
And how did you go about finding these local artists?
Well, I had a passion project years ago where I did music production and put on a couple of events, and that got me networked with a number of groups across the West Coast as well as in Europe. And so after following a bit of my passion for music and that network, I realized that just looking at the stuff that I was doing in my corporate job, that it didn't have to just be corporate. And I really do agree with what you're saying about local. And that's why companies have these presences in these communities. And so that you can go within your immediate circle and put the opportunities back in the community that's directly around you. And I think that's kind of what I was looking to do, as well as really just solve a issue that I had, which was I want cool music, and I want to own it, and I want to help other people and give them opportunities. And Autodesk full on supported it, and now I think we can't wait for the next series, and it's pretty exciting.
And so congratulations on that win, because that's a really big deal to really push through, not just an output, right? A piece of marketing material, a piece of video, but also the process that goes with it was an opportunity for you to give back to the community, and you still got your job done, and above and beyond, right?
Yeah.
So that's really what we're looking at, is like everybody wins. And I do love that sort of, the idea of local is really changing because we are such a global community, and a lot of that is because of technology, and going back to that whole idea of that divide in this area between, you know, the struggling community and also a burgeoning community of like because of technology. I think there's something to be said about that. It's like, how do we use, you know, I mean, how do we use technology to make the world a better place, right? And how do we use our creativity to use that technology to make the world a better place? And you know, one of the things I wanted to ask you too is, did you even have you ever heard of Autodesk prior to this?
No,
I
haven't.
Because I've heard it out of your mouth. But that's it. But
No.
I mean, there's so many tech companies. I was just telling my boyfriend we live in Silicon Valley, and I'm driving down the street. I'm like, that's here and that's here. Like, what? How are there so many data companies? How are there so many tech companies? Period. Like, is there actually that much business?
There is that much data.
It's crazy.
That is the
It's
truth
all
of
information.
it.
Yeah.
And the data is power. It really is. It gives you the ability to provide people what they need in real time in the hands of the people that really need it. And having that ubiquitous data access to especially underserved communities is a huge opportunity, and it can really help to foster growth in other communities. So you give a community internet access, education, then all of a sudden they can thrive on their own. And Autodesk and their various sustainability and foundations is something that they invest heavily in and are really truly trying to solve some of the world's toughest problems. And I mean, I look at my thing with music and my videos, which, you know, definitely is one side of a corporate business, but there are other sides of it as well, where you're building homes, you're building dams, you're creating energy, you're designing limbs for people that need it. And, you know, that's one of the cool things about Autodesk and design and engineering software, is that that's the kind of stuff that we're impacting.
I think what I like about the new techie companies that is coming up is that they allow people to be who they are. And the traditional office setup is not your basic, like, cubicles. It's like couches and hammocks and pinball machines and
Gyms.
and puppies. And so it allows
We have all those things.
and so it allows people to be like more creative. So when you put that work out there and when someone receives it, like, you can feel the creativeness about it. So that leads me to my question. what advice would you have for emerging creatives that work in corporate? And like, how can they still continue to stay creative? Because I know me and corporate, we don't get along. Yeah, well, that's why I'm on this side of the desk.
I would have thought the same for myself as well. I mean, and I think Autodesk in particular, one of our core values is to be authentic. Bring your authentic self to work, and I think that fostering that really creates a better conversation around what you're trying to accomplish, because people are being honest, truthful, comfortable, and that really does actually produce better work, in my opinion. And I think that for people that not every corporate culture is as accepting, and especially even people and individuals are learning to adapt to changes and to be sensitive and including of these other communities. And so I'd say for anybody that wants to be creative and bring your authentic self to work and just remain professional, but let your passions drive you and find those passion projects within what you're doing so that it's a central kind of purpose that's driving you versus the corporate job, because the job will always be there. There's always some work to do, but it's how you choose to do it that can really make it impactful for you and for your other communities around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's easier in particular for Autodesk because they're about, it's a maker's culture. So that's why they're so aligned with WeXL, is because of they are inherently a creative culture within the corporate world, and they even have Pier 9. You still have Pier 9, right?
Absolutely.
And Pier 9 is a workshop. When I used to work at Autodesk as a contractor, we were allowed to use the kitchen. It was an industrial kitchen. We're allowed to create and 3D print our designs. We were, I mean, it is incredible. It was just so much that you can do. You can make toys for your children. You can make those limbs, and really, I think that's a super interesting, like I also found out that your social impact sustainability component in corporate also was brought together with your brand. So now it's like all part of it. Social impact and brand is the same. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
It's actually kind of a core tenet. We look at the diversity and inclusion as one of the core tenets of our brand. And it's interesting, the sustainability and impact group, there are so many things that we do on a weekly basis, even across the company, that affect the world in little ways. Like we make solar batteries, and we actually just ensure that everyone in the company makes a battery, and then we ship them out, and that's 10,000 batteries made, and we write letters to the people that receive them. Wow. And that's just one of the small things that the company, that people actually at the company find these passion projects, and Autodesk supports them, and then the rest of the community does as well.
Well, thank you so much, Whitney. Yeah, you have to check it out. I mean,
absolutely.
Okay.
San Francisco, San Rafael is
Stop by the gallery.
And everywhere, global as well. So thank you so much, Whitney. It was such a pleasure to have you and to tell us more about what you do and share the work that you do. And that's it for a segment. If you want to know more about our mentor, Whitney Lawrence, go to our website, wexl.org, and also follow us on social media at WeXL.org on Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hi, welcome back to Represent. Today's segment's guest is Kayla Choates. Yes. I was like, oh, did I mess up your first name? No, Kayla Choates. And she is a student at Texas Southern University, which is the second largest historically Black university here in the U.S. And we're here to talk to her about her experience as being an emerging creative. in college, away
Yes.
from home.
So sad.
No, not really.
She's not
Sad
at
at
all.
all.
He's not sad at all. So Kayla, tell us about some of the really great work that you're doing at school and a bit about yourself.
Yes.
Oh, actually, so about myself and just in general, I'm one of 6 children. So, going to college, it was never really an option for me. It was always like, my mom always valued education, so she always pressured us, not necessarily pressured us, but she encouraged us, encouraged us to always want to achieve a higher education, my mom and my dad. So I actually didn't want to attend a HBCU at first. I wasn't well educated on them, but my mom had attended a historically Black college, and she encouraged me to go to one. And it was the best decision of my life. Let me just say that. And at Texas Southern University, I am actually the 2019-2020 Mrs. Sophomore. So, so I'm Miss Sophomore for the school. So I'm on the Royal Court at the HBCU. No. And so I last year I was a part of the international winning speech and debate team at my school. We are actually the speech and debate team at my school is actually what the movie The Great Debaters is based off of.
Right.
My debate, The Great Debaters, the entire cast went to my school and to my debate coach to be taught by them on how to debate and how to portray that on television. So I'm actually on a really competitive team. In Berlin last year, we got second at internationals. The year before that, we got first at internationals. So I'm on an internationally winning debate team. I'm also a part of KTSU2, The Voice, the radio station at my school. I'm a broadcast journalism major, and I'm also a part of the debate team. I'm Miss Sigma Pi Alpha. So that is the debate team, like the kind of like a fraternity, sorority type thing. That's a part of the debate team. And I think I'm the first person, don't necessarily quote me on this, but I've been told this. I haven't had it confirmed, but I'm the first person at my school to ever hold 2 titles.
Ooh.
So Miss Sigma Pi Alpha and Miss Sophomore. So just that alone, I am overwhelmed, and I feel so blessed to be able to say those things, So I'm just blessed. I'm excited.
I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, I was gonna ask, like, when do you sleep?
I got about 3 hours last night.
Me too.
Solid 3 hours.
Yeah,
She was working earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
In the summer, she was working today.
Okay.
And then came here. I mean, she's just nonstop. You're right.
That's right. Get in. Get
in where I fit in.
That's right. So actually, let's talk a little bit about your college experience. So college is like not. I kind of like skipped over that stage because I didn't have the encouragement. So that's so good that you did. So like, what was it like for you moving away from home? And because it seems like to me you was pretty excited about it.
Let's say this. This time last year, I was more than excited. I did not want to go to school in California because I'm born and raised here. So I wanted to experience another city, right? Okay. So that's why I chose Houston. I chose a city because, I mean, I'm a Cali girl. I had to go to another city. I want to change, but not too much of a 360, right? So I went to the South, and I did not realize how homesick I'd be. I would be lying if I didn't say it was the first semester was the hardest few months of my life. I'm not gonna lie, I cried basically every night. I called my mom crying a few times. She's like, "Why are you crying? Aren't you doing all these things?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I want to go home. I miss my friends. I miss my family." And the thing about being in college and going away for college, you have to realize is that honestly, you are on your own. I mean, I learned that I had random family members out there that I never met. So, you kind of get to know them and you're like, oh, they're family. But it's difficult being by yourself. And honestly, the thing that helped me was getting involved in school, because getting involved in school helped me find like-minded people and people who I was on the same level with, people who had the same interests as me. And ultimately, I formed my own family in Houston. So second semester for me was a breeze, and that's why I'm so able to easily talk about it and my college experience because I went through the downs, but then I was able to find a family aspect and find my niche and where I fit in.
And support.
Yes, my
Yeah.
support,
And
definitely.
expanding your reign,
Yes.
right? Like the territory of.
And getting to know so many different types of people because I'm from Silicon Valley, right? Born and raised Silicon Valley, and I went to private school my entire life. So I'm used to being around, I'm not gonna even rich white kids.
Okay.
Asian
Call it.
people. That's all I'm used to. I mean, I have some black friends from STEM programs and different things like that, but I wasn't as used to black culture. And that was another driving factor for me to go to an HBCU because I've been around so many different races my entire life, except for my own people. So I actually had to learn that black people itself is a whole different culture. I actually had to grow a backbone and some tougher skin because a part of black culture is things like roasting and, like mean jokes.
You gotta get on it. You gonna get left.
I'm sensitive.
Yeah, no.
I cry a lot.
No.
So I was like,
No.
oh my gosh, like you don't like my shoes? Like
No.
what's wrong with my shoes? And I really just had to it made me more confident in who I am and really just having to learn how to be like, be quiet. I know I look good.
That's all right. You gotta snap back. Gotta snap back.
And I've really come into my own. I went to college as a young girl, and I came out my first year as a young lady.
Yeah.
So,
Because if you didn't, then why are you there?
yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
can-
Education, of course, is the key. I maintained above a 3.0 the entire both semesters. So, I really went there to become educated because I am a broadcast journalism major. So that's what it was the point of going to college. But in turn, it turned me into who I am now.
Yeah. I
Is
think.
that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, I want to be the next Oprah. I'm gonna just say it. I'm just lay it flat on the table.
Oh, you're
right?
just gonna be Kayla.
I want to be Kayla, but let's say this: Oprah is my inspiration. She
Okay.
inspires me because the other day I remember I told someone I wanted to be the next Oprah, and they looked at me and they said, "Don't you mean the next Wendy Williams?" And I was like,
It's not the same thing.
"No, I want to be the
Different.
next
Not the
Oprah."
same.
And they said, "Well, Oprah owns her own network." And I said, "Okay, and I want to own my own network."
Duh.
And then they just looked at me, and they were shocked by my response. And I felt at that moment, I said, why would I limit myself? Not saying that Wendy Williams limits herself. Everyone chooses the path and the career path they want to go down. I want to do acting. I want to have my own network, my own television. I want to own, like OWN, like she owns herself. I want to be my own brand. I want to be my own person because at the end of the day, all I have left is myself. So I want to rely on myself and be who I am, my authentic self.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Oprah is a unifying factor for people of color, including, I'm a immigrant Filipino, and my mother and I watched it growing up, and it was also a unifying factor in multiple generations of women. And I think that's there's a reason why there's this nonprofit has a TV show is because it is like we have. I do believe that she has such a great impact in women and women of color.
But see, not only that, like she's not doing the talk show anymore, but she still got books and she still got the club and then she
Magazine.
the network and like she, I mean,
television
yes,
shows.
like the paychecks are like consistently
Rolling
generating. No shade to Wendy Williams, but her money ain't as long as Oprah. So that's what we're trying to get to, that generational wealth, because we need to put that back into the community.
And that sort of business and creativity, Oprah, she owns that, man. She knows how to put that
She's
together.
a mastermind.
I think for me though, like sidebar, Oprah was my biggest inspiration because like she never really got married to Stedman, or it was like some kind of like, I'm like, is it like Mr. Oprah? Or like did she like buy him? So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy me a husband like Oprah. Don't even worry about it.
He's supportive.
Yeah, you support the guy. Yeah, because she bought him.
Yeah.
That's his job. No, I'm just joking. I don't know Stedman. I don't know Oprah. my own interpretation.
Well, I think it's interesting that this is your ambition. And so do you have steps towards that ambition? Do you have a plan?
I actually do have a plan. So next year, I plan on trying to get an internship at the radio station that I'm working at right now. So like right now, I'm just learning the ropes and how to input different things into the system and different things like that. I've gone on a few field trips with the radio station. So I'm trying to learn to really get out into the field. I get into all my major classes this year. So I'm really trying to, I know that this is what I want, but I don't necessarily have the exact field outline of exactly what I want to do. I have an idea of what I want to do. So what I really want to do is get internships, right? So I plan on getting into my major courses, getting more involved with school. With the speech and debate team, communication, my communication skills have improved tremendously.
Absolutely.
I want to win an international title, right? I want to do good with my dramatic interpretations, my impromptu speaking, all those different things. I want to do great at both speech and debate, right? So I want to really tone in and get more involved in school, but at the same hand, I really want to look into internships for the summer and even into studying abroad and different things like that, because internships are the only way to really hone in and know if that's what you want to do, because you're hands-on, and I'm a hands-on active type of person. Yes.
And it sounds like a great plan. And we're looking forward to keeping in touch and seeing you grow into even the woman that you're going to become.
Yes.
And I thank you so much for being here. And now we're all connected.
Yeah, I'm so excited that we got to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more about our emerging creative, Kayla, go to WeXL.org. Follow us on social media at WeXL.org on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And just keep on checking in. We have so many creatives and creative collaborations we want to tell you all about. See you later.